All right, guys, so we'll start with the discrete. So we have a table here that's wherever some experiments happened and they summarize the data. So let's just pick like a random investigation. Let's say the amount of numbers that we see passing a certain point, right? So X, it represents the possible outcomes. So just whatever outcomes you could get. And those outcomes must be discrete, as you see here, exists at distinct points. And then the probability X is equal to X is the probability of each outcome occurring. So probability of each outcome. So this here is the probability X is equal to 1, this 2, and this column here. So the probability X is equal to 3 will be 0.4. Probability X is equal to 2 will be 0.4. And the probability X is equal to 1 will be 0.2. All right, so that is how you analyze this table. And if you were to like draw up this table, same way. So the first row is the possible outcomes, which should be X. And second row will be the probability of each event occurring. All right, so the first thing I must catch from this, now there's basically probability on a whole. The sum of the probability X is equal to X must always equal to 1. Because the sum of probability always equals to 1. So the sum of all the probability of all the events must always equal to 1. So what that means is 0.4 plus 0.4 plus 0.2. You'll notice that this adds up to 1. All right, so this is an important thing I have to notice. It must always add up to 1. So if I didn't know what the probability of one event was, because I know all of them must add up to 1, I could always figure it out because I know it must add up to 1 in the end. All right, so let's try some examples to see. All right, so consider each distribution. Determine if it's a valid probability distribution or not. All right, so you have E. So we have the discrete events and you have the probability for each. So we need to check to see if it's a valid probability. So first thing we must check to see is if the probability of all the events adding up to 1. So 0.25 plus 0.6 will be 0.85 plus 0.15 is 1. So in this case, the sum or the probability of X is equal to 1. So it is a valid probability distribution. So for B, we have the possible outcomes and the probability of each outcome. So 0.25 plus 0.6 is 0.85, and plus 0.2 will be 1.05. So since the sum, the probability X is not equal to 1, it will not be a valid probability distribution. Yeah, and that will be the end of this first part.